Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of my program, The Ex-Seminarian Experience, namely the advocacy. Uh, I wish to thank you so far for how much you have done in sharing our videos and subscribing to our channel. Like you already know, I am an ex-seminarian, and I will always tell you what it feels like to be an ex-seminarian. Today's episode, I'll be sharing certain experiences, a very peculiar one that is so particular to our climate in Africa, particularly in Nigeria. Uh, in this climate, Nigeria in particular, being an ex-seminarian can be likened to an HIV/AIDS patient. What do I mean by that? The stigma, the all kinds of negativity associated with all that is so pronounced. And then it could also be likened to the biblical experience of the leprous community. You know, there we were told what the experience of the leprous persons, you know, it's the stigma, the rejection and all of that so made it that the society also prescribes certain activities for you. You know, the people lived in the outskirts of the community, they lived outside the community, so much that once you want to partake or whatever is bringing you to feel the atmosphere of the community, there was a prescribed way of coming into the community. You have to be ringing the bell, unclean, unclean, unclean. It was as terrible as that. You are reduced to a subhuman, in fact, not a human being at all. You know, and this experiences really makes one, if you are not very strong, it causes a whole lot of it can result into depression. And that is why if you have heard of any incident, some young people go to the extent of committing um, suicide and all of that, stemming from the activities and what the society holds against them. Being an ex-seminarian is really is quite traumatizing though, particularly at the initial stage. The kind of welcome people offer you, in fact, the rejection is so much. Friends, relatives, some as good as family members, you face rejections from such persons. And this is my little way of letting the world know, or letting the Nigerian community understand that an ex-seminarian is not an evil person. An ex-seminarian is not a bad person. An ex-seminarian is not a womanizer, contrary to the popular opinion. Because once you say you are an ex-seminarian, what readily comes to the people's mind is na womanizer, na woman cause am. You know, it is not necessarily woman. It is not necessarily you don't go thief. It's not necessarily you don't go give woman belle. No. In most cases, they are very far from this, let me say, allegations. They are very far from it. The reasons are very, very far from this. So I want to use this opportunity to educate and enlighten the public. And I want you to partake in this little adventure, in this little endeavor to reach the, the public, to reach more people. I am doing this basically too for love of the church, and then for concern for humanity. Because if you really see what young people go through, if you really see what young people go through after their seminary exit, my dear, you will feel for these young people. And having passed through that phase, thank God I have transcended that phase, and I want to use myself as an example, as a way of reaching the people by sharing my experiences and letting people understand what it means. An ex-seminarian is not evil. I repeat, an ex-seminarian is not necessarily a womanizer. An ex-seminarian is not necessarily a thief. An ex-seminarian could also mean that at some point he decided to take a decision and realize that he was not supposed to be where he was. One very um, thrilling experience too could be that sometimes you want to explain to people why you left the seminary. Explanations are never enough, and I am using this medium to tell the young people who might be in my faith someday or wear my shoes someday. Don't be too wary about explaining to people what happened and all that. In most cases, people don't even believe you, especially when it does not involve the one here na woman cause am, a thief, or I do this one. They want to hear a very terrible thing that you did. And once it is devoid of such factors, my brother, whatever you are explaining, they go just look you. So to help yourself, just relax, accept your fate, and carry on with life. And to you relatives of those who are in such situations, don't ever feel like you are disappointed or whatsoever. Take care of the young man and let him feel very comfortable. That is your own way of helping humanity too. And then by this, um, many friends might not even come to you, many relatives might not even come. In most cases, they judge you from a distance. They judge you from a distance. So much that whatever you explain, whatever you tell, is just none of their business. So don't bother even explaining to anybody, because you will lose a lot of friends. You know, I lost a lot of friends in that immediate time, that immediate period. You know, like I mentioned earlier, very many people literally, practically ran away from me when they sight me from a distance. And I could see that. So you could just imagine that level of rejection, stigmatization, and all of that. So I lost friends, particularly in some cases, the female folk, they begin to feel like if I come close to this young man now, I will also share in the stigma, you know, by way of people saying, nah, this one, this girl cause where them pursue this. Most of the ladies wouldn't want to have such fingers pointed at them and having such names attributed to them and all that. So, friends, just accept these young people. Whatever it must have been, it will just be a mistake from the young man or whatever it is, but it doesn't make him an evil person. So my advice generally, and which is the basic reason why I'm doing this, let's show concern, let's be humane, let's be more of humans to each other. There is just nothing about this whole thing. You know. So I encourage you, look into these issues, look into this, and make a decision of helping, especially spread this message by liking our page, by subscribing, by watching and sharing this video. That is one of the greatest things you can ever do to enrich humanity. This is our little way of doing that. And I join you to fellowship with us as we carry on this endeavor. Thank you very much.